Welcome back. All right, so in honor of Nathan MacKinnon reaching 1,000 points last night, in fact, he reached point number 1,001 last night, I figured now's as good a time as any to discuss his career, what he's accomplished thus far. And I really think that this is a guy who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I don't think he's done collecting Stanley Cups either. I think one is great, but I think two is possible, three is possible. We'll see how long the Avs are contenders. But what's interesting is that MacKinnon's really been through the ringer in Colorado before all this success. So he's drafted first overall in 2013. And when you look back at that draft class, you might be able to make an argument for Barkov going number one if you did a redraft, but I don't know if you can make the argument for Barkov ahead of MacKinnon. People will certainly try. But the funny part is that MacKinnon at one point in time, not a huge success. Now his first year, 2013, 2014, 82 games, 24 goals, 39 assists, 63 points. He wins the Calder Trophy. So everything looks good that first year. No issues at all. However, he struggled beyond that. So 2014, 2015, 64 games, 14 goals, 34 assists, 38 points. 14 goals, 24 assists, 38 points. Did I say 35? I think I said 34. Anyways, the 38 points, disappointing. And I remember at that point he was seen as a bust. And I myself at one point felt like, I don't know, this guy's ever going to be anything. I have no idea. He just looked kind of lost. 2015, 2016, 72 games, 21 goals, 31 assists, 52 points. I think one argument, too, that was out there was maybe he had committed to the league too quickly, too early, he was too young for it. But either way, past his third year in the National Hockey League, his best season offensively was still his first, and there were plenty of discussions about whether or not he was ever going to be the star player that we know he is now. 2016, 2017, he'd play in his first All-Star game that year. However, his numbers don't progress. 82 games, 16 goals, 37 assists, 53 points. So one extra point from the year before, still 10 points below what he had his rookie season. Now what's interesting is July 8th of 2016, he was signed to an extension by the Colorado Avalanche. It's a 7-year extension, the cap hit being $6.3 million. So the 2016-2017 season is the first season of that contract. And I remember stating when that contract was signed, a lot of risk. He hasn't proven himself yet. I'm not sure that he's worth the $6.3 million cap hit, the whole bit. And yet, he would prove that that was a bargain not too long after. 2017, 2018, it just clicks. And this is that thing that happens with young players where all of a sudden they get it and their production skyrockets. And that's what we had with MacKinnon. 2017, 2018, 74 games, 39 goals, which is 9th overall in the NHL, 58 assists, 97 points, that's 5th. He had more assists than he had points the year before, and he's top 10 in scoring, in fact, top 5 in scoring. In the playoffs, makes his playoff debut that year, 6 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. He's second in Hart voting. He's on the second All-Star team, and of course, played in the All-Star game that year as well. 2018-2019, 82 games played, 41 goals. That's 6th overall in the National Hockey League. 58 assists, 99 points. That is 7th overall in the National Hockey League that season. In the playoffs, 12 games, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points. And he played in the All-Star game that year. So another really, really good year, although he hadn't hit 100 points yet. And I remember that being a talking point with people saying, hey, can't call him an all-time great. He hasn't had a 100-point season yet. Well, he has now. 2019-2020, plays 69 games that season, 35 goals, which is 9th overall, 58 assists, which is 6th overall, and 93 points, which is 5th overall. Add all that, of course, at the time of the pause. And then in the playoffs, 15 games, 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. Remarkable playoff run, although when Colorado's out in the second round, that started to become the talking point. Well, Colorado doesn't get past the second round. So he won the Lady Byng that year. He's second in Hart voting. He's the second team All-Star, and he's at the All-Star game again. 2020-2021, 48 games played. Remember, this was a 56-game schedule. 20 goals, 45 assists. That's 5th overall in the National Hockey League, and his 65 points is 8th overall. So that's 4 straight seasons in the top 10 scoring. 10 games in the playoffs, 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 points, and he's 3rd in Hart voting. So, doing pretty well. But outside of the Calder, he hasn't acquired any other awards yet. We'll get there, though. 2021-2022, 65 games played, so he missed some time that season. 32 goals, 56 assists, 88 points. Continues his remarkable run points-wise. 20 games in the playoffs, 13 goals, 11 assists, 24 points. Played in the All-Star game, but more importantly, he won his first and to date only Stanley Cup that season. Absolutely remarkable season. And with that Stanley Cup win, it silenced a lot of critics about whether or not Colorado could win in the playoffs. Also silenced a lot of critics of Nathan MacKinnon. As crazy as it is, there was discussion of whether or not he could lead a team to a Stanley Cup. Might be a little too soft, not able to play through the tough games, and not really built for the playoff hockey. You guys have heard this about any team and any player that doesn't win in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 2022-2023, plays 71 games, 42 goals, that's 9th overall, and to that point, his career high. 69 assists, that's 5th overall, and that is a career high for him to that point. 111 points, so he breaks through, gets that first 100-point season. He's 5th in scoring that year. 7 games in the playoffs, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Of course, that was the year that Colorado gets knocked out in the first round by Seattle. He was 5th in Hart voting and played in the All-Star game that season as well. So really, really strong run for him. And that was the first year of a contract that, it was a pretty good one that he's recently signed. September 20th of 2022. Signs an 8-year deal at $12.6 million per season. Now, what's interesting is that immediately people are like, well, he's trying to get more money than McDavid, and yet he's been an excellent player ever since. 2023-2024 plays 82 games. There we go. 51 goals, 4th overall. His only 50-goal season. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he doesn't get to 50 goals this season either. 89 assists. That's 3rd overall. He can eclipse that this season and probably does. 140 points. That's 2nd overall in the NHL last season. 11 games in the playoffs, 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points. He wins the Hart Trophy, wins the Ted Lindsay Award. He's a first-team All-Star, and, of course, played in the All-Star game. So that's a pretty good season right there. Just not topped off with a Stanley Cup ring, but he may have one soon. Now, this season so far, and today is March the 11th, 65 games played, 27 goals. His 75 assists leads the league. His 102 points also leads the league. So Nathan MacKinnon has gone from being seen as a bust and not necessarily being a great player about a decade ago. Not much, actually a little less than a decade ago, right? If you look back 2016, 2017, we're now up to 2015 or 2025, so that's like 8 years. But at any rate, he's played 856 games in his NHL career, 362 goals, so he's 38 goals away from 400. 639 assists. He's already 78th on the all-time list for assists in the National Hockey League, and his 1,001 points puts him 100th. He was the 100th 1,000-point player in NHL history. In the playoffs, 88 games, 48 goals, 66 assists, 114 points. So it's interesting that twice he's signed contracts that people looked at the time they were signed and said, he's a really, really good player. He's an excellent player, I guess, for the most recent contract. The one before that in 2016 he hasn't proven anything yet. But both of his contracts have aged really, really well. And this contract that he signed back in 2022 is only going to age well because the salary cap looks like it's going to be going up. And MacKinnon is going to become more and more of a bargain as each year passes by. So yeah, Nathan MacKinnon, quite the superstar player, 1,001 points into his career. I don't think he's going to hit 2,000 in his career only because he's already played 856 games. And even if he's, 1,000, let's see, so you'd have to have 10 more seasons at 1,000. It's possible, right? Let me know your thoughts. What do you think the ceiling is for MacKinnon? At the end of his career, does he have 1,500, 2,000 points? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hey, the Avs, their cup window, is it still open? Could they win another one this year? Let me know that thought as well. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.